Hello Booktube, hello friends, welcome to Lizziefaye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and in this video I'd like to share with you what I am reading in the month of November. Now I've already posted a video regarding the Moore Montgomery Challenge, and I shared in that video what my TBR is going to be for the Moore Montgomery prompts. So if you have not watched that video, I hope that you will go back and check that one out. And in this video, I'm going to show you everything else that I'm planning to read. So I've got a pretty decent sized list of the print books that I plan to read, and as usual it's probably more than I can get done in 1 month. It usually is, but I'm going to show them to you anyway with high hopes. And also I have a new audio project because my 60 by 60 challenge is coming to a close. I will tell you that I'm not going to get all 60 of them done by my birthday, which is November 1st. I'm close, but I really don't see how at this point that I can finish them. I did DNF one today, and I'm going to count that as part of the 60, but I think I'm going to need about 1 more week. So I think because I'm a finisher, I will take the first week of November, and I will listen to a few more of my 60 by 60 books, enough to get me to a total of 60 of those books. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to start a new project for the months of November and December. And I'm calling it 25 by 25. In other words, I'm going to listen to 25 audiobooks that I have physical copies of on my shelves before the year 2025, which gives me 2 months. So the category I'm going to listen to for the 25 by 25 challenge all came from my Christian fiction shelves. And I have other books that I can get on audio still on those shelves, but I decided to not try and tackle the larger series. There are a few series that have 4 books and more that are on my shelves that I can get some or all of on audio, but for this challenge I just focused on the standalones or trilogies and duologies that I can get, and those I think are just a little bit more doable for a 2-month period that is set during the holidays. So I want to show you those. But first, let me just go through the other odds and ends that I want to read. Now, I've been holding this book up for a few months now, and I still haven't gotten to the Lando Calrissian trilogy by L. Neil Smith. And I want to get to this. I would like to read all 3 of the books in this bind up before the end of the year. That was my goal, was to read all of the Star Wars books that were published in the 70s and 80s this year. So I am determined that over the months of November and December, I will get these read. But I haven't started them yet. I also was invited to do a buddy read with Donna from Studio in the Library. I showed this in one of my recent hauls, and she said, "Oh, I can get that. Let's buddy read." And I said, sure. We'll have to admit, I'm a little trepidatious about adding another print book to my TBR, but Donna and I have buddy read other Amanda Flower books and other books in the past, and she is a delight to read with, so I couldn't say no. This is the first book in the Piper and Porter mystery series by Amanda Flower, and I think there are only 2 out right now. There may be more coming. There probably will be more coming. She asked me if I wanted to also read the second one in December, and I did not say no to that because my library has that one on CD. I couldn't find this one anywhere on audio, so I'm going to have to read this one with my eyes. But it's not out of the realm of possibility for me to listen to book 2 in December. So that is still on the table, a possibility. But for now, we're going to read this one in November. You'll know I have been reading and loving books by Gladys Tabor, and this may be the last one that I read for the year. This is Still Meadow Sampler. This is book 6, and I really wanted to read the other books in the series up to this point by the time or before Sonia finished reading this book, because I wanted to be able to read a little of it along with her. She started in the spring because this book is divided into 4 sections based on the 4 seasons. So she started in the spring, she read the summer, and right now she's reading the fall. And I will start at the beginning and read through the book. But I would love to be able to chat with her about some of the things that I'm reading while she's reading it. So I plan to read this in the month of November. And then because I want to read some other Christmas things and other books like that, I will probably not pick up another Gladys Tabor book until 2025. Now, that may not be what I end up doing because I am hooked on this author. I have loved everything by her. So we shall see. But for now, that's the plan, to read this one and then probably pick back up with this series and other books by her in 2025. I will also be reading a couple of ebooks, and I have been reading some cozy mysteries by Hope Callahan over the last few months, trying to work my way through a 12-book box set that I bought a few years ago. So I am up to book 6 in the Garden Girls series, and I'll put a picture here. And then I'm also up to book 6 in the Cruise Ship Mysteries, so I'll put a picture here. I had been reading the Cruise Ship Mysteries, and then I realized that characters from the Garden Girls were going to be in book 6 of the Cruise Ship Mysteries. So I went back and started the Garden Girls, and I've been enjoying that series just as much as the Cruise Ship Mysteries. So now I will get to read one of each, and I will finish this very large box set that I have had on my Kindle for several years now. And I'm excited about it because this is not the only box set by Hope Callahan that I have in my Kindle. So I will definitely be continuing both of these series and picking up some of her other series as well. The only other book that I hope to read in print, and if I don't get to it, it will get bumped to my December TBR. But this is the last book in the Christy Miller series by Robin Jones Gunn. I listened to the first 10 of these on audio, and then I had to read 11 with my eyes, which I have done, and I have not yet gotten to book 12. I really want to share this series with my church library for the kids there, and I want to get this read. I also have a companion book to the Christy Miller series called Christy Miller's Diary. So if I can get this one read in November, then I can read the diary in December and then take the whole lot to the church. But even if I just finish this series by the end of the year, that's fine, and I can still check it off my series about series list and still finish the other book in 2025. And speaking of series about series, I have been writing down a list of all the series that I have been working on and finishing, and I hope to do finally, after 2 years now since doing an update, I will this month or next month, very soon, do an update on what I've been finishing and what I've been reading for series books most recently. Okay, for audiobooks in the month of November, I have one book club book to read. I have already read one of the books I need to read for November. It was The Wager by David Grann, and I listened to that last month. But for my other book club, we are reading Small Mercies by Dennis Lehane. And I can get this, I believe, on Hoopla, so I plan to listen to this. And then for December, we only have one book. Our clubs combine and just read one book in December, and it is a book I've read before, so I'm going to just wait and listen to it again on audio right before our book club meeting in December because it is a Christmas themed book. So this is the only book club book that I need to read right now for November. I also have an audiobook that I'll be listening to for the More Montgomery Challenge. It is a book of short stories, which I already mentioned in my More Montgomery video. And another readathon that I'm planning to participate in is the Nora November Readathon. This is hosted by Storm from Storm Reads. And since last year, I listened to The Awakening, which is the first book in the Dragonheart series, I decided to go ahead and pick up the second book, which I believe is called The Becoming. I didn't love the book. It didn't blow me away, but it was interesting enough that I am curious to pick up with the series. I think it may just be a trilogy, and I will definitely go ahead and give book 2 a shot. I'm not a huge Nora Roberts reader. I have really, I think, only ever read the one I read last year, and I've read the first of the In Death series, and that was a little too gritty for my taste. So, I am definitely interested in giving Nora Roberts another try, and I want to support my friends in their readathons as much as I can. And so I'm going to listen to The Becoming by Nora Roberts in November. I'm going to jump in here and add this little clip because I had filmed this video and realized I completely forgot to mention NonFiction November. So far, I only showed you, I think, one nonfiction book that I was planning to read, but by reading one nonfiction book, I will be able to join in the fun for Nonfiction November, and join is one of the prompts. So I'm going to count Still Meadow Sampler by Gladys Tabor as my join book. And also, I would like for you all to join me in reading some Gladys Tabor. Whatever you pick up, I have not read a book by her that I didn't love and rate 5 stars. Now, I haven't read that many. I think this is my 4th one, but so far they are all fantastic. So I'm going to count this as my join book. Now, I started thinking, do I have any other nonfiction books I could add to my TBR that I could possibly get read in the month of November? And I realized that my husband had checked this out from the library and asked me if I wanted to read it. Now, y'all know I've been talking about The Daniel Plan, which is a book by Rick Warren and a project that was started about 10 years ago by the people at his church, where he's the pastor, Saddleback Church in California. And I've been doing that and being fairly successful. I'm kind of a little off track at the moment, but my husband read the Daniel Fast, which is more of a vegetarian vegan diet than the Daniel Plan. It is completely unrelated to the Daniel Plan, except that it is biblically based, like the Daniel Plan. Anyway, he suggested that I read this and see what I thought about it. So I decided that for the prompt code, I will count the Daniel Fast book by Susan Gregory, because this might be the secret code to helping me lose weight and stay on a more vegetarian vegan diet, which is what my husband and my daughter are doing. So I thought, well, if I'm going to cover 2 prompts, I may as well try to cover the others. And I have this currently checked out from the library. I was getting ready to check it in, and I may still check it in because I probably can't keep it through the entire month, but I'll check it in and then check it back out again before the end of the month. This is Another Path by Gladys Tabor. And because I have loved Gladys Tabor so much, I check this out from the library, and with the word path in the title, I could certainly count this for the prompt path. Now, this is about grieving the death of her best friend, so I'm not sure that I really want to read it at this moment, but it's a very short book, and if I feel like I can fit it in, it would certainly meet that prompt. And there's just one prompt left, so I may as well give it a shot to cover all the prompts. And recently I picked up several nonfiction books that are centered around Florida and different subject matter related to Florida, and most of them are children's books. This is called Save the Florida Key Deer by Margaret Goff Clark. I have been to Big Pine Key, where the Florida key deer live. I've seen them, and they're adorable. They're just these little small deer that are protected, so they are not allowed to be shot. People do shoot deer, but they don't shoot key deer unless they get in serious trouble. So I can count this for the prompt shot, because I'm giving it a shot to cover all the prompts, and deer are animals that do sometimes get shot, although the key deer are not allowed to be shot. So, you get the idea. Anyway, those are the 4 books I am going to try to squeeze in to my November TBR in order to meet the Nonfiction November prompts. And now back to the rest of the video. All right, so let's talk about my 25 by 25 challenge. I've got, I think, 28 books here, and I had first started out thinking I wouldn't do more than 3 books by any one author. But in order to have a couple of alternates in case I'm not able to get a hold of 1 or 2 of these books, I did go ahead and pull a couple of extras off my shelves by, I think, 2 authors, so that I actually do have 5 by one author and 4 by another one. But as long as I get 25 of these books done, that will be great. Then I can unhaul most of these books. A lot of these will go to our church library unless there's already copies there. If they're not needed there, I could trade them in at the bookstore where I work, or I can put them on eBay. So let me just show you what they are. The first set of books I want to show you is a trilogy by Charlene Ann Baumbich. She also wrote the Dearest Dorothy series, which I have finished and adore. It is a delightful series, not quite as good as the Miss Julia series, but very sweet. It's a 6-book series. They're just little tiny books and they are adorable. So I hope that you will get a chance at some point to read the Dearest Dorothy series. And those are on audio on Hoopla and maybe Everand. So you can easily check those out. These books are on Everand. In fact, now that I have checked off some of the oldest books on my Everand list, these, I think, are now the oldest things on my Everand list. So if I get these done, then I'm doing really good, clearing off some of the older books on that list. But this trilogy is called Snow Globe Connections, and the first one is called Stray Affections. Book 2 is called Divine Appointments. And book 3 is called Finding Our Way Home. I think my sister read these a while back and recommended them to me, and I think I told her then, I've got those on my shelf. I just need to read them. I also have the first 2 books in the Aloha Reef series by Colleen Coble. This is a bigger series than this, but I just own the first 2. So I'd like to go ahead and get started with the series, and if the rest are available on audio, I can listen to those without having to collect the books. But I do have the first 2 here. I believe the first one is called Distant Echoes, and then book 2 is Black Sands. Then I have a couple of books by Mary Connolly, but I just have one here that is book 1 of a series. This is The Kincaid Brides, called Out of Control, and I've never read anything by her that I recall. Maybe I have, but now I have a series by T. Davis Bunn on my shelves that I've been trying to get to for a long time. But like I said, I'm not going to read any big series right now in these last 2 months of the year. So that series will go on my Serious About Series list for 2025. But meanwhile, I'd like to go ahead and read The Centurion's Wife. This is by Davis Bunn and Jeanette Oke. This is biblical fiction, and I love Jeanette Oke, and so I definitely want to get to this. This writing team wrote my favorite Jeanette Oke series, which is the Acadia series. And the other spin-off Acadia series by Davis Bunn and his wife Isabella is the one that I need to get to next year. But anyway, for now, I'll be happy if I can just listen to The Centurion's Wife. I have several books on my shelf by Lori Copeland, and these are all standalones. I have a couple of other series by her that I can't seem to find on audio anywhere, but for now, I'll be happy to just go ahead and listen to these. I have Now and Always, Simple Gifts, Child of Grace, and A Man's Heart. And then I have one book by Terry Blackstock. Again, she has several series. I listened to an entire series by her for March Mystery Madness, and I just couldn't stop. I finished one and went right to the next one, right to the next one. And I've been told great things about her Restoration series. She also has a Christmas book that I'd like to get to in December. But for now, this is the one I pulled off my shelf. This is called Cape Refuge, Book 1. I don't know how many are in this series, but this is the only one I own of that series. So I'll go ahead and give it a shot. What I might allow myself to do, though, if I can find the Christmas book on audio, I might substitute it because I do own it. It's with my Christmas books. And if it looks like this is a really long series that I'm going to just love, I may postpone starting this series and just read that Christmas standalone. I'll try to show you a picture of it here. Anyway, I've heard great things about this book. One or the other I will listen to for the month of November or December. Now, one thing I should mention before I get any farther into this, I pulled 25 books off my shelf, and I doubt that I can get all 25 of these done in the month of November. I had planned this to be a November and December project. But I would like to incorporate some Christmas books into my reading. Now, a lot of the Christmas books I own that I really want to get to, I have to read in print. So I just need to kind of look through my Christmas books and see which ones I own that I can get on audio. And I will let myself pull some of those into this mix. And if that means that I don't get to all of these and I pull in some Christmas books that I can get on audio for the month of December, I will do that. So I'll let you know in my December TBR if I have come upon any that I want to do that with. The criteria for this project is that it needs to be a book that I own in physical form but I can get it on audio so that I can listen to it quickly and then unhaul it or sell it or let it go out of my house in some way, shape, or form. Now, I have discovered a couple of the books in my 60 by 60 challenge that I want to keep. So if I discover that any of these are just so wonderful that I can't let them out of my sight, I will keep them. But I'm pretty sure for the most part, I can at least let these go to the church library where I will still have access to them if I want. Now, I already showed you one that was biblical fiction. I've got another one that is biblical fiction. This was recommended by Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes. It's called The Robe. You can't really tell from this cover. I guess this probably had a dust jacket at some point. But this is biblical fiction, and I believe it is about Jesus on the cross and the robe that he wore and what happened to it. I don't know for sure if that's what it's about, but y'all can correct me if I'm wrong if you've read this. Anyway, I did discover that this is on audio available to me for free, so I will be listening to this. There are more books in this series. It's by Donna Fletcher Crow, but this is the only one I have for obvious reasons. This is Elizabeth, Days of Loss and Hope, and it's historical fiction, so I've discovered that I can get this one on audio, and I want to go ahead and listen to it. This one I believe is a standalone, Hope Springs by Kim Cash Tate. I don't know anything about it. This one, I believe, might be related to another one, something about the secret to hummingbird cake, although they both might be standalones. I'm not sure. And I thought I had the hummingbird cake book, but I couldn't find it. Anyway, this is by Celeste Fletcher McHale, The Sweet Smell of Magnolias and Memories. And I did see that I can get this on audio, and I can get the hummingbird cake book on audio, so I might just go ahead and listen to both of them if I have time. I've got 5 books here by Francine Rivers. Most of them are standalones. I have Leota's Garden and The Atonement Child. And then one I bought when I was visiting Mitzi, when I was shopping with her, is The Lady's Mine. I bought this at her local thrift store. And then I have a duology that I have been looking at on my shelves all year, thinking I need to get to those. I don't remember which comes first, but anyway, it's Her Mother's Hope and Her Daughter's Dream. And a few other odds and ends. I've got The Memory Book by Penelope J. Stokes. I don't know anything about this one. And then speaking of hummingbirds, this is On Hummingbird Wings by Lorraine Snelling. I don't think I've ever read a Lorraine Snelling, and she has written a lot of books. Then I believe these are from the same series. The publisher sent me this first book for review, and I never got it read. So I definitely still want to read this one and review it. These are both by Kim Vogel Sawyer. This one is Unveiling the Past, and I think this is the sequel, Bringing Maggie Home. I don't know if there's more in the series, but these are the 2 that I have. And the same for these 2. I don't know if there's more in this series, but these are the 2 that I have. These are from the Patchwork Circle series by Judith Pella. This is book 1. This one is book 1 called Bachelor's Puzzle, which I'm pretty sure is a name of a quilt pattern. And then this one is called Sister's Choice. So I am really looking forward to getting to these. I'm pretty sure my sister has read these. Charlotte, if you're watching this, let me know. I want to say she has. Charlotte, if you haven't read these, I have duplicates. So I think I've already taken the duplicate set to the church library, but you can have these as soon as I'm done. And then one last book. This is Surrender Bay by Denise Hunter. I'm pretty sure that Chloe from Always Booked has talked about Denise Hunter, or maybe it was her sister. When her sister had a channel, she used to talk about Denise Hunter. I don't know. One of them or both of them has read Denise Hunter, and I have not ever yet read one. So I'm looking forward to this. Y'all, if you've read it, let me know what you thought of it. So that is about 28 books, but like I said, I am going to read as many of these as I can, or listen to as many of these as I can in November. And then I'm also going to go through my Christmas books, and if I own some Christmas books that I can get on audio, then I will substitute in some Christmas books so that I can listen to a total of 25 of my own books before the end of the year to potentially unhaul when I'm done. So that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. That is the majority of my TBR for the month of November. The only thing I didn't include was my TBR for the More Montgomery Challenge, which is located in another video. So I hope you check that out if you haven't. And that's all for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.